This video contains spoilers for the Winds of Winter. In A Song of Ice and Fire, Euron Greyjoy was the second-born son of Quellon Greyjoy, Lord of the Iron Islands. It seemed that even from his earlier days, there existed a darkness within him, a darkness that only grew with time. In The Winds of Winter, the disturbing detail that Euron had sexually abused both of his younger brothers, Euron and Euron, as children, was revealed. Euron Damphair, who was currently being held prisoner by Euron, could still recall the terrible sound of his bedchamber door's rusted hinge. Euron had also been responsible for the death of 3 of his brothers, Balon, who he had killed to take his place as the ruler of the Iron Islands, and when he was younger, he had secretly murdered his brothers Harlan and Robin.
Harlan was my first. All I had to do was pinch his nose shut. The grayscale had turned his mouth to stone, so he could not cry out, but his eyes grew frantic as he died. They begged me. When the life went out of them, I went out and pissed into the sea, waiting for the god to strike me down. None did.
In The Winds of Winter chapter The Forsaken, Euron demands over and over of his brother Euron Damphair, a priest of the drowned god, that he renounce his lord and worship him instead. Euron does not seem to believe in or respect the gods that men worship. Euron carries himself as if he is in possession of strange and powerful knowledge. Euron is the only person known to have sailed to Old Valyria and returned from the Smoking Sea. And who can say what other shores he has seen in his near decade in exile? In the Forsaken chapter, it appears that what Euron actually seeks is some form of apotheosis. He wishes to become a god on Earth. I believe Euron is a psychopath. According to the dictionary, psychopathy is defined by impaired empathy and remorse, and bold, disinhibited, and egotistical traits. The word psychopath does not imply delusional thought or irrational action. Euron thinks extremely highly of himself and is incapable of empathizing with other people. His ego also seems to be fed by his ability to control others. I believe that this is why he abused his brothers, Euron and Euron, and also why he killed Robin and Harlan. His actions were expressions of the power that he had over them. The power to choose whether they suffered, whether they lived or died. It made him feel like a god. And now Euron seeks to ascend even further, true apotheosis, through what appears to be terrible dark magic.
No, I'll not kill you tonight. A holy man with holy blood. I may have need of that blood later. For now, you are condemned to live.
A holy man with holy blood, Euron thought when his brother had climbed back onto the deck.
He mocks me and he mocks the god. Kinslayer, blasphemer, demon in human skin.
Euron is collecting holy men, worshippers of various gods, including some of the warlocks which Daenerys encountered in Qarth. He has imprisoned them for a goal which has not yet been revealed. At the end of the Forsaken chapter, Euron commands Torald Browntooth to have the holy men each bound to the prows of his ships, including his brother Euron. This is interesting when we consider a vision that Daenerys had in the House of the Undying all the way back in Book 2, A Clash of Kings. A corpse stood at the prow of a ship, eyes bright in his dead face, gray lips smiling sadly. It is very possible that Dany's vision could refer to Euron Damphair. While Euron claims to be entrusting his brother Victarion with delivering Daenerys Targaryen to him, it seems more likely that Euron is manipulating Victarion in some way, anticipating his betrayal. It is possible that Euron himself may be heading to Slaver's Bay. Though Euron had given Victarion the Dragonbinder, the Valyrian horn said to have the power to bind dragons to its will, it is stated by the Red Priest Moqorro that the horn must be claimed with blood, and that it would only answer to its master. Victarion believes that he can claim the horn, but I think Euron already has. Otherwise, why would he entrust Victarion with this mission? The horn, Victarion, and the holy men all seem key to Euron's grand plan. I believe that Euron's brother Victarion will play the role of a sacrifice, perhaps not to any god but Euron himself. This is aligned with Mokoro's ominous statement to him. Your red god will have his due, I swear. My word is iron. Ask any of my men. The Black Priest bowed his head.
There is no need. The Lord of Light has shown me your worth, Lord Captain. Every night in my fires, I glimpse the glory that awaits you.
We have seen many hints throughout the series of the esoteric power of blood sacrifice. What gives power to a king's blood? Worship. The people lifting that person up and saying, "This is my king." There is power in worship, and in the A Song of Ice and Fire universe it goes beyond the surface and into the arcane. That is why Euron wants it. In a vision brought on by the shade of the evening, Euron speaks to Aeron of the breaking of the world. The red comet had been the herald of the approaching darkness. A time would soon come when the world as they knew would end, and in that time men would look to a new god.
The bleeding star bespoke the end, he said to Aeron. These are the last days when the world shall be broken and remade.
A new god shall be born from the graves and charnel pits. Then Euron lifted a great horn to his lips and blew, and dragons and krakens and sphinxes came at his command and bowed before him.
Kneel, brother,
the crow's eye commanded.
I am your king. I am your god. Worship me and I will raise you up to be my priest.
In the vision, Aeron saw Quellon Greyjoy upon the Iron Throne as the old gods of men rotted upon its barbs. Impaled upon the larger spikes were the bodies of the gods. The maiden was there, and the father, and the mother, the warrior, and the crone, and the smith, even the stranger. They hung side by side with all manner of queer foreign gods, the shepherd and the black goat, three-headed trios, and the pale child Bacalon, the lord of light and the butterfly god of Noth, and there, swollen and green, half devoured by crabs, the drowned god festered with the rest, seawater dripping from his hair. In the vision, not only do dragons come to the command of Euron, but also krakens and sphinxes. In A Song of Ice and Fire, krakens seem likely to exist. In the book Fire and Blood, Sir Eustace Hightower gives an account of when he may have encountered a kraken during a supernatural storm on his voyage across the Sunset Sea with Alice Westhill. In the midst of the madness, one of my hands screamed that he had seen arms rising from the water, the last thing any captain needs to hear. Then a wave rose up and swallowed her. I blinked and she was gone quick as that. That was all it was, a wave. A monster of a wave, but all my men were screaming, "Kraken, Kraken," and not a word I said would ever disabuse them. There have been several other mentions of krakens throughout the series. Sphinxes are also mentioned elsewhere in A Song of Ice and Fire. They were creatures of myth who either had human faces and the bodies of dragons, or human faces and the tails of snakes, the wings of a hawk, and the bodies of lions. They are similar to chimeras, fire-breathing female creatures from Greek mythology, with the heads of lions and the bodies of goats and the tails of serpents. Interestingly enough, chimeras are mentioned in George R. R. Martin's most recent book, Fire and Blood, in reference to the Valyrians.
They practiced blood magic and other dark arts as well, delving deep into the earth for secrets best left buried, and twisting the flesh of beast and men to fashion monstrous and unnatural chimeras.
This is an indication that these legendary creatures may have existed in some form, having been created in experiments by the Valyrians. So the possibility is open that the vision of krakens and sphinxes coming to the call of the horn could in some way be literal. Metaphorically, it represents Euron wielding power over the sea, the kraken, and the power of the Valyrians. Euron also possesses a full suit of Valyrian steel armor, covered in strange runes. The magical potential of the armor is not yet known to us, but it is clear that he believes the things that he has discovered among the ruins of Valyria to have great power. In the vision, Euron had demanded that Aeron bow before him, his king and his god, and he would raise him up as his priest. As I said, throughout the Forsaken chapter, Euron urges his brother to worship him, offering to end his suffering. I believe that for whatever Euron is doing to work, The worship must be offered willingly, and perhaps that is more powerful coming from Euron, someone greatly devoted to the service of another god. But Euron could not possibly hope to get all of these holy men to renounce their gods, even though that seems to be the point of the torture. They must also have another purpose. Euron ties each of the holy men to the prows of his ships, holy men praying to the various gods of earth for their salvation simultaneously as Euron sails the sea towards Daenerys. Could such a thing stir the otherworldly forces which govern their reality? The Red Priest Mokoro glimpses those who seek Daenerys, but none as terrifying as Euron. "Have you seen others in your fires?" he asked warily. "Only their shadows," Mokoro said. "One most of all, a twisted thing with one black eye and 10 long arms, sailing on a sea of blood." As Euron grows in power, even Mokoro can sense it. The sea of blood he sails is a sea of death. What is evil, and what happens when evil wields the power of a god? Euron possesses dangerous secrets and is setting himself up to be one of the major antagonists of the series. In the second part of this video, we will explore the concept of evil itself and try to unravel the nature of Euron's ascension, separating the metaphorical from the literal. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more ideas of Ice and Fire. Please check out the playlist on this channel for more A Song of Ice and Fire theories. Hey guys, before the season, myself and several other content creators here on YouTube worked on a book called The Thrones Effect: How Game of Thrones Conquered Pop Culture. My chapter was on redemption arcs. I focused on Jaime Lannister and Quellon Greyjoy. Link in the description.